Hello, it's JCal Arts, and welcome to my Let's Draw series where I draw a picture, you watch me draw, and I explain the thought processes behind the drawing. So today's Let's Draw, I'll be drawing some original characters from the original character pool, and these characters share the same universe as the TNK that I did in my last Let's Draw. And this came about because I wanted to put more original content out there. I've been saying that frequently, so now I'm doing it. And I also was kind of inspired by ABD Illustrates Concept Corner, where he shared some of his original characters and concepts that he's been cooking with. So yeah, that finally spurred me along to share some of that original content in today's Let's Draw. So let's get into it. So my first OC is the OC of OCs in my lineup. If you know what I mean, fellow artists, you have that one original character that is just your baby, or they represent you, or like they're like the main character of your lineup. And we have Olimar here, and that's the character I'm drawing on screen, and here's his name spelled out for all of you who need it. But Olimar has had a long design history, and it's pretty interesting the type of evolution he's been through throughout the years. And I've mentioned Olimar in other videos on this channel before, but I'm starting to finalize on his design and basically getting the ideas of what his story is and everything. So I guess I'll just go through those details with you. As mentioned before, Olimar and the other characters in today's Let's Draw share a universe with the Ninja Kappa, and Olimar in particular has a similar life situation as Ninja Kappa, where he ends up leading a double life. He's a university student trying to find purpose in his life, working odd jobs to make extra money during the day, but then during the nighttime he takes on a Darkwing Duck style persona who acts as a vigilante fighting bad guys. I'm afraid I don't have a name for his vigilante persona, so that's a work in progress. However, unlike the Ninja Kappa, he only takes on the vigilante work when the bad guy he's fighting he has particular beef with, or if the bad guys in question are negatively impacting the communities he cares about. So he's not as frequent as the Ninja Kappa when it comes to leading the other half of the double life. And unlike the Ninja Kappa, who are ninjas, so obviously people are unaware that ninjas are running amok in their city, Olimar's vigilante persona is very well known to the general public, so he has a lot more pressure put on him to keep a low profile and make sure people don't make the connection between him and his alter ego effectively. Personality-wise, I see Olimar basically being the straight man to the TNK, where he's very serious, well-grounded, no nonsense, and if you don't know anything about the TNK, go watch their Let's Draw and see what type of mess they can be together when they're in their day-to-day life. So he's very serious and very straight-laced and responsible, similar to Sanji. However, he's a workaholic and has a problem trying to, not overwork himself. So Olimar has two designs, his pedestrian affair and his vigilante costume, and so I'll show pictures of his pedestrian looks, but he, has long black locks that he stylizes in different hairstyles with a blue shirt over a white sweater, jeans, and black sneakers. And for his vigilante costume, I basically have him wear a blue dashiki over a blue thin spandex form-fitting suit that superheroes are known to wear generically. But unlike them, he also has, a golden belt, gold arm bracelets, and a modified do-rag that he wears that is able to fit all his beautiful black locks. And he also has rocket boots that obviously are inspiration from Zero Suit Samus's rocket jet boosters that she got in Smash 4 and kept in Ultimate, because when I saw those kicks, I was like, yeah, I'm giving Olimar those just in the sneaker version. Now, when it comes to his powers, I'm still not really ready to go into detail on what they are in today's video, so you'll probably see a post that I'll make about it later, especially because of how deeply evolved it is in his backstory. But as I mentioned, I'm going to keep the story elements for most of the characters here, except the last one, pretty close to my chest. So yeah, I'm afraid this will be the end of Olimar's segment. So on to the next character. So for my next OC character, we have Amani, and Amani is a character that's been on my channel for quite some time in different forms. So those who've been following me proto JCal Arts era, you've probably seen this character picture that I use as like a YouTuber icon. And this is an Aziza. And Aziza are effectively African versions of the European fairy. They also live in nature. They, want to protect their natural home and can treat humans based on how they treat the nature around them. And if you have more information about the Aziza, you can drop that information in the comments section. But I mentioned this Aziza information because I don't know if Amani, if I want her to be an Aziza herself, or if I want her to have powers bestowed upon her by the Aziza, because I've never really been sure. Like I said, Amani is a character with big question marks still, despite me technically drawing her over the years in different forms, but I'm pretty sure I'll land on something later down the line. So there's still a lot of what ifs with Amani. As far as her powers, I just don't know. I believe I'll have her have some form of water magic, but I'm not exactly sure. And considering, the Aziza, like, I do see her having like butterfly wings of some sort, but don't count me on that. It's still a big what if. Now, when it comes to relationships, I do have that more solidly grounded. So I see Amani being related to Olimar in some way, like possibly like a distant cousin of some sort. And basically when it comes to Olimar and Amani, it's more like, oh wow, you're such and such's cousin. And finally being able to properly meet, that time in the family reunion where you properly meet your extended family that you don't really contact very often. I effectively see that being the relationship between Olimar and Amani. And as far as a relationship with the next character in this Let's Draw and the TNK, I'm going to keep that information close to my chest. So you'll probably see some future comics and drawings featuring her with the other characters. So I'll just keep that to my chest and save it for later. So when it comes to Amani's visual design, I'm not going to go into detail because I'll already tell you that it's not going to be the same as you see here in the speed paint, because I kind of just put this one out here just so my audience can be introduced to Amani in this Let's Draw. So I'm going to keep the fact that she is a dark-skinned Black female character, and I'm also going to keep the fact that she's going to have, natural 4-type hair. But everything else is subject to change. I basically have been drawing multiple outfits on Amani and just couldn't pick one. So yeah, sorry guys, she's still in the design kitchen. So you'll probably get a finished design meal later down the line. So just keep on waiting, I guess. So I'm going to let the rest of the speed paint for Amani just play over until we get to the next and final character. But while I have you here with time to kill, I want you to like, comment, and subscribe, because just like the TNK speed paint Let's Draw episode, the voiceover for this episode has particularly been painful. All the things I do for you, my fellow viewers. But for real though, like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And I also want to make an announcement. So on my community tab, I mentioned how Let's Sketches are now going to be in the form of YouTube Shorts. And yeah, I finally experimented with that form of, I guess, YouTube video, because they're just TikTok videos under YouTube, but whatever. And so I just want to let you know that my Let's Sketches will be over there on YouTube Shorts, and I'm no longer going to be doing Let's Sketch videos, especially because of how easy they were to make. So yeah, that'll be all the announcements, so we can finally move on to our final character. So in my last Let's Draw with the Teenage Ninja Kappa, I mentioned effectively them having a antagonist that they fight against. And at the time, I really didn't have any details about what their antagonist was like. Like, I think I just referred to the antagonist as Shredder because that's just how much of a blank there was for effectively their villain that they have to fight against. But now in this Let's Draw, we're finally going to bring him into fruition out of the Idea Kitchen. So I would like you guys to meet the Moon Emperor. So we have the Moon Emperor. The Moon Emperor is a ruthless businessman, and he wants to basically have global dominance via business. And so this is the Kazuya-style warlike businessman that ended up invading the Ninja Kappa's ancestral ninja clan homeland back in Japan and made them refugees along with their father Nagato. And Olimar himself has his own vested interest in trying to keep the Moon Emperor at bay along with just, wanting to help the Ninja Kappa as well with their struggle against him. And so, yeah, the Moon Emperor is not a good guy. And I am going to be frank and let you guys know that my inspiration for the Moon Emperor comes from the Moonies cult. So I don't know how many of you are aware of the, Moonies cult, but they're basically a South Korean cult that was once headed by Sun Myung Moon, which is the name of their leader. And to just go over some of the things they would do that are kind of just like odd to us outsiders. Sun Myung Moon would have mass wedding ceremonies where he would, basically arrange people within his group to marry other people within the group, and then they will all celebrate in a mass wedding. And I'll just show pictures up here, but y'all, it was just very weird having to see these things be played out on video. And one of the sons of Sun Myung Moon has his own little church in Pennsylvania, I believe, and they basically have a somewhat similar ceremony, but they carry rifles. And yeah, these guys are, quite frankly, very cult-like to me. And if you want to drop down in the comment section and relay any more information about the Moonies cult, you can go ahead and do so and inform me and anyone watching this video. But I was kind of inspired by the Moonies cult in the sense of just having someone have that type of like global reach like the Moonies cult, and being, having a villain that owns a lot of different businesses that span across the globe. Like, that's what inspired the Moon Emperor, and obviously his name as well. But yeah, so the Moon Emperor is not a good guy. And I also have him wear like a white, gold, and black color scheme with hints of brown, because it's of a similar color scheme to the hanbok, I'm going to assume, that Sun Myung Moon would wear. Like the color scheme of the hanbok that Sun Myung Moon would wear, particularly when it comes to wedding ceremonies, was white and gold. So yeah, that's what inspired his palette. And I basically see the Moon Emperor having like a multiracial background, being a mixed race person of different Asian ethnicities. And I decided to reflect that in his outfit, where he wears like Japanese karate pants, Chinese parts of Chinese armor. He's wearing the top of the traditional Taekwondo uniform, but it's sleeveless. And so that's just to reflect his mixed heritage. And that's what inspired him to want to unify the world like Sun Myung Moon, where, he comes from different backgrounds and just wants to unify the world the same way how he's basically a unification of different Asian ethnicities because of his multiracial background. So yeah, that's kind of the story description behind the Moon Emperor here, y'all. So to sum up, the Moon Emperor basically runs a global MLM business with multiple side businesses and little adventures to help him basically keep his operations running and make more money. And he plans to basically dominate the world via having a multinational scammy corporation. And he wants to assure his dominance goes without impediment or bringing any attention by making the Mochizuki clan members, the TNK and Nagato, by making them no more, so he can ensure that that bad deed that he engaged in is not known to the general public, with any survivors to tell the tale. So that's as much details that I'm willing to share about the Moon Emperor publicly, because the ideas I have for him are not all the way there, and the ones I'm not confident in, I'm not going to share publicly. So I guess I can give little deets about the TNK, because I had come up more when it comes to, them as characters. So when it comes to Ninja Kappa, their hair colors, except Junichi's, are not natural. When it comes to the other three, they dye their hair blue, blonde, and green, and they actually have the same hair color as Nagato, a very dark brown. And I also see Junichi being a mixed person like the Moon Emperor. And in this case, when it comes to him, I see him as being Asian coded. And that's why I gave him green eyes and freckles. And I plan to change his hair to a dirty blonde color, like a very light pale brown of some sort, because y'all saw me in that segment with Junichi struggle with finding a color palette. And I kind of just threw some together to get it out as far as like the video getting it out. So that is all, and I would like to thank anyone who's made it thus far in today's Let's Draw, and I'll encourage you to be on the lookout for more of these characters and my Instagram and everything else. So thanks for watching.